For hundreds of years, people who have visited Lake Champlain on the Vermont-New York border have described a monstrous creature that swam in its waters. The people have nicknamed the creature Champ, and although I'm confident that Jacob Kinney didn't encounter Champ on the night of May 7th, he did manage to capture a true Lake Champlain monster. Now, Jacob started bow fishing 10 years ago with an old bear bow and an AMS reel, and over the years he has seen popularity in the sport grow in his area. More and more boats are popping up in his favorite spots. So in the fading light of that fateful May night, he urged his brother Owen to hurry as they launched their boat. As they headed to their first spot, he saw that another boat wasn't far behind, but on this night, they had the advantage. You see, over the past few weeks, Jacob was seeing larger fish than he had in years past. On average, a common carp would range from 10 to 20 pounds, with the occasional 30-pound fish showing up. But this year, and just a few trips prior to this night, he had arrowed his largest common carp to date, a 40-pound fish that had just missed the state record. And although he didn't really have any thoughts about breaking the record, I think Jacob's instincts were guiding him. Because there, on the edge of the lights emitting from his 16-foot Sylvan boat, a big fish appeared. Although, something about this fish didn't look quite right, because it was big and bloated and swimming slowly. So Jacob and his brother both hesitated, and they questioned what the fish was until they got close enough to where Jacob could see the enormous scales. He thought to himself, no other fish looks like that, so Jacob launched his arrow, and it found the mark. The fish flared on its side and started to roll. He said the fish could barely fight due to its size, but still, he urged his brother to send a second arrow for insurance. Now, I forgot to mention that this was Owen's first ever bow fishing trip, and here he is, faced with the backup shot of a lifetime. And guess what? He nailed it. Unfortunately, that excitement was short-lived, as the fish continued to circle, and somehow Owen's arrow popped out. But luckily, Jacob's arrow still held firm, and he brought the fish boat side. He reached down with one hand under the fish's head and another on the arrow, and he hoisted that fish into the boat. They stared in awe at the massive fish that was so full of eggs it distended the fish's stomach from its gill plates to its anal fin. In their shock, the boat that had been behind them passed at a mere 60 yards and never had a clue as to what just transpired. The brothers' first attempt to weigh the fish was laughable, as the fish buried the needle on Jacob's 50-pound scale. And their second attempt wasn't much better, as the fish weighed 70 pounds on a completely different scale that Jacob didn't really trust. So they took the fish to a certified scale, where the behemoth common balanced out at 63.35 pounds. And a state fish biologist witnessed the carp being weighed and will certify the fish as a state record, since it eclipsed the previous record by a solid 20 pounds. Jacob's massive common carp will be hard to beat, but Jacob is no stranger to record fish in Vermont. He also holds the BAA record for tench, which is a non-native species that apparently found its way into Lake Champlain when a Canadian fish farmer's ponds overflowed. He also holds Vermont's BAA record for a grass carp, which, to his knowledge, is the only grassy ever shot in the state. In fact, the grassy set off red flags amongst the state's biologists, and they asked for precise coordinates to where the fish was taken. Now, Jacob also regularly finds long-nosed gar, bowfin, and another non-native species called rudd in decent numbers during his trips. And with plenty of shoreline and clear water, Lake Champlain is making a name for itself in the Northeast as a bow fishing destination. But should you make the trip, please familiarize yourself with the rules, as this is a border water with New York, and each state has different regulations in place. Once again, congratulations to Jacob Kinney on the common carp of a lifetime. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And if you want to hear more stories like this, check out this video, and I'll have more to share in the future episodes of This Week in Bowfishing.